Hello people of the tube, my name is Freddie Price. I'm a 22-year-old drummer from the UK. I realised in my previous vlog I said I was 21. I am actually 22. I must have been tired that day for some reason. Anyway, this vlog I'm doing today is I'm going to be talking about a concert I went to on Tuesday evening, and the concert was a tabla maestro called Zakir Hussain, very famous in the Indian classical world, and he's done a lot of stuff kind of fusion, like jazz stuff and pop rock. Like, he's done a lot of collaborations with various Western artists as well, so he's very well known in the West as well. You might know his his father was Ravi Shankar's friend, and he was a great tabla player maestro as well. Ravi Shankar also being a sitar player who taught the Beatles, and hence how Indian classical music got influenced into the Beatles music and came over to the West in the 60s. Anyway, I went off on a diversion there. I'm going to take my glasses off. Anyway, so I went to a concert Tuesday night in Bristol at a place called St George's Church, and it was some of the greatest musicianship I think I've ever witnessed in my life. So the first half was Zakir Hussain and another Indian musician called Sabir Khan, who's playing a Indian classical string instrument called the sarangi, which is kind of, I'd say, their equivalent to a cello. But it's a lot shorter, and you sit on your lap, you play it, but you play it with a bow, and similar kind of, well, I'm not sure about the tunings, but to my ears it sounded a bit like a cello. So they took the first half together, and they were playing some traditional Indian classical ragas. Apparently the one they were playing is meant to be in like the mid-afternoon in the evening kind of thing. That's apparently when that raga should be played. A raga, kind of, if you don't know what a raga is, it's a piece of Indian classical music, and it's usually, if it's North Indian raga, they usually have certain times when they're played in a day or night, and maybe for certain festivals or religion. Certain festival days or events or celebrations. I don't know too much, so my actual knowledge of Indian classical music isn't that great, so if I get the terminologies wrong, please bear with me. So the first part of the performance, first half of the concert, was Sabir Khan and Zakir Hussain playing together, and oh my god, the timings that they were doing was unbelievable. The speed that Zakir Hussain went through at some points was absolutely mind-blowing. But one thing which was, from a drummer's point of view and a percussive point of view, is all the timings. The Sabir Khan and Zakir were not playing in the same time. They were kind of weaving in and out of each other, kind of like creating like figures of 8. So they're always, in Indian classical music, whatever instruments are being played in the piece, they always come back on som, which is 1. So they can do all these odd timings but always land back on the 1, and that is so impressive, because so a very common rhythmic phrase, you could say, in Indian classical music is called tintal, which is a time signature, is what we call it in the West, but they call it time cycles in Indian classical music, which is a 16-beat time cycle, so much longer than a usual beat in Western music. So they'd always, they play around with tintal, playing that kind of rhythmical phrase, and they're not, as I said, they're not playing in time with each other, but they will always land back on the 1. And the knowledge of knowing where the 1 is and how to play around that rhythmical phrase is absolutely mind-blowing. Like, that takes a lot of years of musicianship to be able to, first of all, to be able to hear it, and then be able to play it with such level and sophistication that those two musicians were, is absolutely mind-blowing. Like, by the end of the first half, my mouth, not physically, but in my mind, it was kind of like, oh my god, these two are insane. Phenomenal, like absolutely mind-blowing stuff. So that was kind of the first half. The second half of the performance, they had two other musicians come on. A drummer called, if I get the names right, Marcus Gilmore, and a Uzbek percussionist called Abbas Kozimov Doira. If I get any of these names wrong, my sincere apologies. But the second half was just as phenomenal as the first half. So they were playing, obviously you had three percussionists and one melodic player, you could say. And what they were doing is Zakir Hussain would play this rhythmical phrase, and then Uzbeki percussionist would go and play it and copy it on his drums. He was playing like frame drums, but he had lots of different types of frame drums. At one point, he was playing three at the same time, which is phenomenal. Like the showmanship of him was brilliant. At one point, he even threw up on the frame drums and caught it and carried on playing. Like, brilliant, absolutely brilliant stuff. But yeah, so basically they were going back and forth. So in musicians will know what terms I'm using is called call and response, where one musician will play a phrase and then the other musician will play it back on their instrument afterwards. But it's like you're having a conversation. So I might be talking on my instrument, then I stop and I let you answer. So call and response. So they were going back and forth. So they were going back and forth with that, and then they all came together at the end and just went on with this beautiful piece of music. And the very last piece of music that they played, Sabir Khan, the sarangi player, I believe that's how you pronounce the name of the instrument, sarangi. He also started singing. It was a very beautiful voice, and a very powerful voice as well, because he started off very quiet and then eventually just build up, and that was absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, in overall, and also what I love about Zakir Hussain is he had a very good sense of humour throughout the whole concert. So he was actually interacting with the audience. So at one point in the second half, he was playing a piece and he's saying this piece has 5 tempos, and he started describing how it was. So he said, right, so you know in India we have traffic, very bad traffic, and he started, so the way he described the tempos, the first one was like a bus. It's kind of slowed going, and it's, you know, it's in the middle of the lane, it just keeps on barging its way in and out. So it's kind of like the main deep, you know, tempo, the main rhythm, you could say. And then you have like motorbikes going weaving in and out. That's the second tempo. So that's going kurunda, 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 something like that. Anyway, it's probably a bit longer. It's probably like kurunda, kurunda. So you're kind of doing like a figure 8. So that's the second tempo. And then the third tempo was, if you imagine somebody crossing a road, but they're doing it at the very last minute when vehicles are coming through. So it's like running. You get to the end and there's a big stop on the emphasis. So that was quite funny as well, because it's like you're not going steady, you're just going at the last moment kind of thing. So that was the third tempo. The fourth tempo, I believe he said, obviously in India you get elephants on the road and on paths. So there's Lord Ganesh, who's one of the Hindi gods, has his own special tempo and rhythm. And the fifth one, I'm trying to remember what he said about the fifth one. How do you describe the fifth one? I actually forgot how he described the fifth one, but it was something to do with interlinked with the traffic. But you can see the way he's describing them, that all these rhythms are interlinked, and at some point they'll all come back together on the one. So you have these multiple tempos, and you can play, you know, sometimes you play them out on the tabla, you play maybe that tempo, and then you switch to that tempo, but they'll all come back eventually onto one, which is like phenomenal stuff in Indian classical music, because some of the mathematics behind playing the rhythms on the tabla is mind-blowing. And just musicianship, I think, in Indian classical music in general, like the time signatures or time cycles, and just knowing when to all come back together and when to go off and do your own thing, is absolutely phenomenal. So I will be doing a separate vlog just talking about the tablet in general and my study so far in the tablet, and just talking a bit about my journey and some terminology in the tablet, and I may play a little bit pieces as well just to emphasize some of my points. So hopefully you'll be there to watch that, and I hope you enjoy. If you do have any more questions, please comment. I need to still work out where the camera is on this. Please comment down below and feel free to ask any questions. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this. Take care. Have a good day or night. Bye.